Welcome to Strong Male Figure, the channel where men rise above weakness, master their emotions, and live by the timeless wisdom of the Stoics. Today, we dive into a lesson every man needs to hear: how to gain influence at work without begging for it. Because here's the truth. Influence is not given to the desperate. It is not given to the loudest. It is not given to the one who begs. It is given to the man who carries himself with strength, silence, and authority. The man who follows the Stoic code. Look around your workplace. Some men talk endlessly, trying to prove themselves. Others beg for attention, constantly reminding everyone of their contributions. And yet, there's usually one man, the quiet one, the calm one, who says very little but somehow holds the room. That is influence. Not the noise of desperation, but the power of restraint. Not chasing validation, but commanding it through presence. Today, I'm going to show you how to build that kind of influence, the kind that gets you noticed, respected, and promoted without ever begging for it. 1. Influence begins with value. Let's start with the foundation. Influence is not magic. It's not luck. Influence begins with value. At work, value means this. When things go wrong, are you the man who can be trusted to fix it? When pressure rises, are you the one who stays calm? When responsibility is heavy, can it be placed on your shoulders without fear of collapse? This is why the Stoics taught men to love difficulty. Marcus Aurelius said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way in the workplace. Don't run from problems. Don't hide when challenges appear. Step into them. The man who carries weight others avoid becomes irreplaceable. And irreplaceable men don't need to beg for influence. It is handed to them." 2. Never beg for recognition. Weak men constantly talk about how hard they're working. They want applause. They want credit. They want their boss to notice every small task. But here's the paradox. The more you beg for recognition, the less you get it. Because begging destroys respect. Real influence is not earned through reminders. It is earned through results. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. Don't argue for respect. Don't demand it. Just become the man who deserves it. When you produce excellence consistently, when you solve problems others can't, when you carry yourself with quiet authority, people will notice, and they'll respect you more because you didn't beg them to." 3. The power of silence. One of the greatest weapons for influence is silence. In every workplace, there are men who talk too much. They speak in every meeting. They argue every point. They desperately want to be seen as the smartest. But the more they speak, the cheaper their words become. The Stoic man is different. He listens more than he talks. He observes. He holds back. And when he finally speaks, his words carry weight. Why? Because they are rare. Think of a judge in a courtroom. He doesn't shout. He doesn't argue. He sits silent while others talk themselves into exhaustion. And when he finally speaks, the entire room falls silent because his words decide the outcome. That's the power of silence. It makes people lean in. It makes your words valuable. It makes you respected. 4. Control your emotions. Under fire influence is built in the moments of crisis. Deadlines, arguments, pressure. These are the moments that reveal a man's strength or expose his weakness. Most men lose influence because they lose control. They snap in anger. They gossip in frustration. They panic under stress. And once you are seen as unstable, nobody will trust you with authority. Epictetus taught, "No man is free who is not master of himself." In the workplace, no man is influential unless he can master his emotions. Be the calm in the storm. When others panic, let them look at you and see steadiness. When others argue, let them see discipline. When others gossip, let them see restraint. The man who stays composed under fire is the man everyone wants to follow. 5. Don't compete for validation. Most men think influence is about competing with everyone else, talking louder, showing off, undermining others. But competition for validation only makes you look insecure. Real influence is not about beating others. It's about being undeniable. You don't need to fight for the spotlight when you are the spotlight. You don't need to beg for a seat at the table when people are asking for your presence. Seneca put it perfectly. He who does not value himself cannot value anything. If you know your worth, you don't need to demand validation. You command it. 6. Historical example, Marcus Aurelius. Think about Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man in Rome, yet also the most silent. He didn't waste his life shouting about his greatness. He wrote his thoughts privately, in silence. He focused on duty, discipline, and self-mastery. And because of that, his soldiers respected him. His people trusted him. His enemies feared him. He didn't need to beg for influence. He lived in a way that made influence inevitable. You can do the same at work. Live with discipline. Lead with calmness. Let your actions be so consistent that influence comes to you. 7. Modern example, the CEO who listens. Studies of modern CEOs show the same truth. The most respected leaders are not the loudest. They're the best listeners. They don't speak to fill silence. They speak to create impact. In fact, some CEOs are famous for speaking last in meetings. They let everyone else talk, gather all the information, and then deliver a short, clear decision. That's Stoic influence in action. Patience, restraint, authority. 8. Build invisible authority. Here's the Stoic secret. The most powerful influence is invisible. It's not announced. It's not demanded. It's not begged for. It is felt. Invisible authority is built when people trust your word without question, when colleagues seek your input before making decisions, when leaders count on you without doubting. You don't have to say, "I deserve influence." Your presence says it for you. 9. The Stoic Code of Influence. So how do you gain influence at work without begging for it? The Stoic Code is clear. Never beg for recognition. Respect your own value first. Bring value. Solve problems others fear. Stay silent. Let your words be rare, not reckless. Control your emotions. Be unshaken in the storm. Build invisible authority. Influence through presence, not noise. Follow this code and influence will follow you. Influence is not about noise. It is not about begging. It is not about chasing validation. Influence is about living with such strength and composure that people have no choice but to respect you. Be the calm. Be the steady hand. Be the man of value. And never forget, the man who chases influence never finds it. The man who builds strength, discipline, and silence, he is the one influence chases. My brothers, never forget this truth. Influence is not granted by your words. It is granted by your presence. So don't beg, don't plead, don't chase. Be the man who commands respect through action, silence, and self-mastery. Be the strong male figure. If this message spoke to you, hit that like button, subscribe to Strong Male Figure, and share this with another brother who needs it today. And remember, real influence is not asked for, it is commanded.